self-taught naturopath, and he helped hundreds of people in Chile and Ecuador. In Ecuador, he was persecuted by the institution there, because he went into a small town, and he discovered that most children had asthma. And he approached one mother and said, "Would you like your child to be healed of asthma?" And she said, "Of course." And so he says, "Look, bring him to me, and I will help, and I will teach you how to help your child." And so that taught that mother how to practice some natural treatments, and the child healed. And so in a typical South American fashion, where gossip is the order of the day, the news was passed on like wildfire throughout the whole town. And soon my dad was having a lot of mothers with young children knocking on his door, and that treated them all. And the doctors realized that mothers with kids weren't coming to see them with asthma anymore, and so they chased that out of town. And so what I'm going to show you is very simple, but it's very powerful. You can help yourself with, when you've got viral diseases, the flu and things like that, with the simple remedies I'm going to show you tonight. So I'd like to ask Danny the permission to share my screen.
Good evening, Pastor Sam. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, good evening, Cedric. Good to have you with us tonight. I know that we have tonight some people from Stanmore Church, and we have also people from South Australia who have joined us, and I'd like to welcome them. And I guess there are people from other places, because the invitation has been passed on everywhere. And so we are glad that a number of you can join us tonight, and I hope you enjoy the meeting. And at the end, I'm going to give, allow you to ask questions, and please feel free to do so. Feel free to disagree. This is nothing dogmatic. I am sharing with you my knowledge, my experience, but I'm not imposing on you. I'm just trying to share it to enrich you, so that you can learn a different way of dealing with sickness and disease. So we have this Sunday, the following Sunday, and two more Sundays we will be together. Tonight's presentation is entitled "Disease, Friend or Foe." How do we see disease? Usually in society, we tend to see disease in a very negative way. Let me just minimize my screen here so I can see what I'm showing. We tend to see disease in a very negative way. And today, as we look around at society, we find that there is many diseases. Around 90% of the diseases that society is suffering, they can be classified as lifestyle diseases. Diseases that are generated or contracted because of the way we live. And tonight, I'd like to answer a number of questions that are important for us to understand. First, we want to define what is disease. What is disease? When we talk about sickness, what is it? Is it our friend? Is it in our side, or is it against us? Should we be afraid of being sick, or should we welcome sickness and cooperate with it in order to grow into health? What causes disease? That's the next question we're going to answer. How should we treat it when we get sick? How should we treat it? How should we deal with it so that on the other side, we have grown in strength and health? And finally, we are going to ask the question, how can we avoid getting sick? And I think that is the most important question, though we're not going to spend a lot of time tonight because of time limitations, but that's we will deal with it. Now, the definition that the dictionary gives us of disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms, or that affects a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injury. So disease is differentiated from physical injury, and disease is defined as a disorder that produces symptoms and also So yes, it's a disorder that produces symptoms. So if we could compare disease to a tree, the disease would be the trunk, the symptoms would be the fruits. So that's the definition that we are given of disease, is a disorder of our body that produces symptoms. The symptoms is what you see. The disease is usually hidden. And it's like a tree. What you see is the fruits, the trunks or the roots are hidden from view. What we seek is the fruits. In the case of the flu, of this definition of sickness, if someone has the flu, that is defined as the sickness. The symptoms that the flu produces is the runny nose, sore throat, aching joints, headache, fever, weakness, etc. So we identify the disease by the symptoms. But somehow this definition of disease tends to fall short. And seeking for a greater understanding, those who tend to have an alternate view of health have defined disease from another perspective. And I think this is a more helpful definition. Naturopaths and alternate doctors define disease in the following way. It says it is the body's warning mechanism, alerting us to lifestyle issues that destroy its harmony and ability to remain healthy. So the first definition says that disease is a warning mechanism that is alerting us to lifestyle issues, to things we are doing, the way we are living, that have the power to destroy the harmony and ability to remain healthy. And the second half of that definition says that disease, it is the body's effort to maintain harmony and health by ridding itself of that which destroys it. So looked at from this perspective, then disease could be defined and be seen as a friend, not a foe. So in this definition, disease is an alarm mechanism. Disease is a warning system that God has left in us so that we will awaken to the reality of our lifestyle, that we are living in a wrong way. And also, disease is the body's effort to rid itself of that which could destroy you and kill you. And so if that's the case, then disease can be seen as an ally, someone who's working with us. So here we have, for example, I'm going to show you 4 diseases. One is cancer. Here we have on the head of this person a tumor that is protruding through the skin out, onto the surface of the head. And we have a stroke, which is caused by a blood clot. And we have arthritis, and we have migraine. And so what are these? In all these different manifestations of disease, the body is warning us to correct our habits. And it's also the body's effort to maintain health, to rid itself of that which would otherwise destroy it. In other words, disease is the body's warning mechanism, and it is the body's or nature's effort to maintain you healthy. And so disease is our friend, but it can turn also to be our worst foe. Why? All depends how you respond to the warning mechanisms, which is the symptoms. Nature begins to give symptoms very early in the process. Let me put this in a timeline from health to death. And the timeline that goes from green to red will show you the severity of symptoms in the case of a heart attack. Before a person suffers a heart attack, that person will have experienced for long period of time a number of different symptoms that were warning him to awaken to the reality of living their life from the wrong perspective, practicing lifestyle practices that are endangering the harmony and the health of the body. And it can begin by just a simple digestive system upsets that repeat themselves. The bowels are not working properly. There is disease in the bowels, and today medicine is discovering that the bowels are closely connected to the heart, to the brain, to the lungs. Every nerve of the body has an ending in our bowels, and if our bowels are sick, we will be very sick people. And so the first signs of heart issue could be manifested in our bowels. But if we just ignore them and lay them aside and we never ever pursue why I'm having these upsets, it may turn worse, and then things may turn that we start gaining weight, and then we go to high cholesterol levels in our blood. That is the reality, that things are not working very well, and also that we are beginning to have a degenerative experience of our whole system. The system is beginning to suffer degeneration, and our veins, our arteries are beginning to go hard, that they are losing their elasticity, and the body begins to use cholesterol to repair the walls of the arteries and the veins, and that's what is determined as high cholesterol in our tests. And from that we go to lack of energy, the inability to have energy to get up and spring and have, a life, and to live life to the full. We feel lethargic, sick, and we cannot put the finger on it. These are warning mechanisms. The body is telling you something is not going right. Poor blood circulation, high blood pressure would be the next. Loss of libido in men, lack of erection in men is a precursor to heart attack. Angina, and then if we have ignored it, heart attack. And so here we have the body using its alarm mechanism to warn someone that something is not right with your lifestyle, that you are doing things that are wrong. But if we confront this right at the beginning of things, then disease is our friend, because it's helping us deal with the situation to keep us healthy. But if we ignore it, the time will come when disease will kill us. In any of its manifestations, disease can kill us. A simple flu can kill us. And so the body awakens us, the body screams at us, the body speaks to us, shouts at us, cries to us, for us to be wise and respond to the warning mechanism that the body uses. Those symptoms that often manifest. What causes disease? This is a very important question. What causes disease? Why do we get sick? The cause of disease is ascertained by simply asking why. And we should all be our own doctors. That no one knows your body better than you. And that you should learn to be wise and ask why. You should learn to play the role of a detective of your own health. Let me show you an example, asking why. Remember, we have disease and we have the symptoms. We want to find out the reason why we are getting sick. And so we'll deal first with the symptoms. Let's say that we got sick with the flu. And the flu produces headaches, runny nose, earache, sore throat, painful joints. Whatever the disease is, disease first gives you an alert through a warning mechanism, which is the symptoms. And you must ask the question, why do I have these symptoms? Why am I coughing? Why do I have a headache? And then the answer may come, well, you have the flu. All right, so I have the flu. But we should not just stop there. That is not the final answer. We ask then the question, why do I have the flu? Why have I fallen sick with the flu? Do not just ignore it. If you only treat the symptoms, you haven't dealt with the issue. If you have a Panadol to stop your headache, that does not mean that you have dealt with the flu. If the headache is gone, but you still have a sore throat, you're still coughing, you still have earaches, that means you still have the flu. But if you have dealt with all your symptoms, that does not mean you haven't gotten rid of the flu. Then you ask the question, why do I have the flu? And the answer will come, well, you have the flu because you have a virus. And you go, wow, so I have a virus. That's why I have the flu, and that's why I have all these symptoms. All right. And then you must ask the question, why do I have this virus? How come my body permitted it, to find its way into my system and make me sick? Why? The question always why. And then you must investigate further why you've allowed, that your body has allowed the virus to take root in you. And the answer would be that you have a weak immune system. A weak immune system. And then you ask the question, why is my immune system weak? You see, what we are doing is that we are trying to dig deep, 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 so that we go down all the way to the root of the problem. And then why do I have my immune system? And the underlying reason for an low immune system, most of the time, is because of your lifestyle, because of the way we are living. And so at the bottom of most diseases, the cause of most disease is found in the way we are living, in our lifestyle. And when we talk about lifestyle, we're talking about that which makes us, who we are and how we live our lives, the whole being, our emotions, our beliefs, our relationships, our diet, our actions, even the way we breathe, what we drink, whether we rest enough or not, our exposure to the environment, whether we exercise or not. All these things are considered our lifestyle, who you are and what you do. That's the lifestyle. And lifestyle, it is the greatest contributor to our health or our disease. I know that in the last few years, there's been a lot of emphasis on genetics, but genetics may load the gun, but that pulls the trigger is your lifestyle. With lifestyle, you can even cause your genetical makeup to go into neutral and even reverse some of the things that you have received from your parents and grandparents as an inheritance. Lifestyle has been found to be extremely powerful in determining our health. Let us look at this same issue from the perspective of a heart attack. So we look at, and we need to ask why. Let's say that the person has had all this symptoms, they're suffering angina, shortness of breath, fatigue, erection loss, poor circulation, and eventually they get a heart attack. They should have been asking why a lot earlier, but they ask the question, why do I have these symptoms? Why am I suffering angina? Why am I suffering, having problems with, erection loss? Why am I having poor circulation? Why do I have problems of breathing? And the answer may well be is that you are suffering atherosclerosis, the narrowing of the walls of your vein with cholesterol. And so you ask them the question, why do I have this problem? Why do I have atherosclerosis? Why do I have excess cholesterol in my system? And then the question may have is, you have high cholesterol. That's why you have atherosclerosis. And we ask the question, why do I have high cholesterol? Do not stop just with one answer. Often we treat the symptoms rather than dealing with the disease. And so then why do I have high cholesterol? And often 90% of the cases is your lifestyle, is the way we are living our life. And so the cause of most disease is found in a wrong lifestyle, in the way we are living. Ellen White says, disease never comes without a cause. I want you to notice that, never comes without a cause. The way is prepared and disease invited by the disregard of the laws of health, the lifestyle that God has prescribed for us. When we disregard that lifestyle, when we live wrong and we go against the principles that God has given us, we invite disease. And what is disease? Disease is nature's effort to warn you that if you continue living this way, you will kill yourself. Or it's also nature's way of ridding your body of that which can destroy you. So how should we treat disease? I think this is the $1 million question. There are many ways, Ellen White says, of practicing the art of healing, but there is only one that God approves. And what is this? How should we deal with disease? All depends your philosophical approach to it, how we understand disease. If we understand disease to be an enemy, we will deal with it accordingly. But if we understand disease to be a friend, we shall cooperate with our body to regain health. We must not attack the problem alone, but treat the whole person. Remember, human beings are not a heart in itself. The human being is not just a pair of lungs and a stomach and a digestive system. The human being is an entity. All our systems are working in conjunction, one with the other, and the body has a sympathetic approach to life. In other words, when the mind is sick, the body sympathizes with the mind, and often that which is in the mind is reflected in disease in the body. For example, eczema. Eczema can come because a person is under a lot of stress. It can also be related to diet. And so the body sympathizes with the stress of the mind and breaks out in eczema. And so the body tells you that something is wrong. The disease is a warning mechanism. So if you only treat the eczema and you put cream and you change your diet to try to get rid of the eczema, but you do not deal with the root of the cause, you have not healed the disease. You have only treated the symptoms. And in order to heal disease, we must deal with the whole person, because when we are sick, the whole person is, the whole person is sick. And so, as Sister White says, when the abuse of health is carried so far that sickness results, the sufferer can often do for himself what no one else can do for him. The first thing to be done is to ascertain the true character of the sickness and then go to work intelligently to remove the cause. So we need to understand what is the character of the sickness. Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it social? Is it spiritual? And then we are to go to remove the cause. If I am depressed, and my depression is causing my bowels not to work properly, I gain nothing by dealing with only my bowels. I must treat my depression. I must work to overcome depression so that I can be healthy in my mind, and then my bowels will respond to it because the body sympathizes. So the first thing we need to do is to find the cause. Analyze your lifestyle, investigate what areas of your life are wrong. You need to do investigative work. Investigate the cause. Is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it relational? Is it spiritual? Is it environmental? All these things play a part in our health, and we need to investigate them. Yes, it takes a lot more time than just taking a pill. When you go to the doctor says, oh, you've got a runny nose, or, the doctor, my shoulder hurts here, and he prescribes some pain medication. You go, you take the pain medication, the pain is gone. But are you healthy? Have you regained your health? We are seeking to be healthy, and to be healthy is the harmonious working of your whole system in harmony, one to the other, so that the person is well. Second, once we've ascertained the cause, we need to remove that which is making us sick. We need to stop doing what is making you sick and remove all unhealthy habits. And this is often, that's why natural healing is not popular. Because when someone comes to see you and you say, yes, this is the cause, you need to stop doing this, and the person loves doing that, it's a lot easier to go to someone who says, just have a pill and you'll be fine. That's why it's difficult. People, natural healing is not popular. Because once you ascertain the cause, you need to remove it. And often it's habits that have been developed over years. Third, then now you need to do that which produces health. You need to remove unhealthy habits, and now you need to choose a lifestyle that empowers you for health. And so once you remove that which is causing sickness, then your body is empowered to heal. But by now choosing a lifestyle that is healthy and empowers your health, you will cooperate with your body in the process of healing, and you will reassure or will give yourself greater chances not to be sick again. Fourth, empower your body for healing. Detox. I'm going to talk about detox a little bit more in the other presentations. Juicing. Use herbs, hydrotherapy, use supplements, massage, empower your body for healing. So you introduce a lifestyle that is powerful, and now also you will do things to empower your body for healing. This makes you the owner of your health. It makes you responsible for your choices. It makes you your own doctor. That does not mean that we do not need the help of professionals, but we need them a lot less than we depend on them. There is a place for medicine. There is a place for naturopaths, but not even naturopaths should take the place of your intelligent cooperation with your own body in choosing that which is healthy and empowers you to live a healthy life. The fifth approach to treat disease is that now we will treat the symptoms. We do not ignore the symptoms. We treat them. But we do not only treat symptoms, because if you deal with the symptoms only, then you will not heal the underlying problem, and the sickness will keep coming, most symptoms will disappear as the underlying issues are dealt with. But we need to use natural means to alleviate symptoms first. But if symptoms are so critical, so difficult to deal with, then we may use some chemical ways to deal with the symptoms, to empower our body to heal. But we are not to rely on drugs and medications for the dealing of our symptoms. We should always first go for the natural, because that's what, even the example of Jesus. I was preaching this morning and I was talking to people saying that when Jesus healed the blind man in the in the pool of Bethesda, he first put mud on his eyes and then he asked him to go and wash. He used both things, two things. He used a poultice, a mud poultice, and then he used water, which are powerful ways that the Lord uses to heal us. And so we should always go first for the natural. But if there is no natural way, then we can go to use the chemical way. What is the wrong approach? Let's say that you have a skin cancer, and I hope it's not as big as this. I've suffered malignant melanoma, and I praise the Lord, he healed me, and I cooperated with him through natural means. But let's say you have a skin cancer, you go to the doctor, and the doctor is very worried, and he's going to deal with this skin cancer. What is the usual way of dealing with the skin cancer? Operation. Well, we'll cut it off. And after it's cut off, we'll give you some drugs to alleviate pain. And then we'll give you some irradiation to kill cancer cells. And also, if necessary, we shall give you some chemotherapy. Now, for a while, that cancer will disappear. After the operation, the tumor will not be there anymore. And after the radiation or chemotherapy, the whole thing may go. But have they dealt with the disease? Have they asked the question, why does this person have this tumor? Why does this person have cancer? What is causing the cancer? Where is the cancer coming from? What is enabling this person to have cancer? You know that over 90% of cancers are related to our emotions and also to our lifestyle. But sadly, often I have met so many people with cancer who have never, ever been asked the question, why? And even more, you ask a health professional, why do I have cancer? They look at you with a blank stare on the face and say, we don't know. You just have it. And so this approach is wrong. You may need to have an operation. You may need to have, drugs for pain. You may need to even have chemotherapy. But if this is the only thing it's done, they haven't dealt with the disease at all. That cancer will come back in one form or another. Or if you've got the flu, what is the wrong approach? Well, aspirin for the headache, cough mixture, antibiotics. It's the wrong approach because they are dealing with the symptoms. They are not dealing with the disease. Even antibiotics to be used in the case of a flu is the wrong prescription, because antibiotics is to deal with bacteria, not with virus. And usually the flu is a viral infection. And so it's only dealing with the symptoms. We need to deal with the underlying cause. Why are you getting sick? If a person is getting the flu often during the year, we need to ask the question, what's allowing it? We should not get sick. The flu especially, and if we are getting it, then our immune system is low. And why is our immune system low? Is it that I am low in vitamin C? Is it that I am low in vitamin D? Is it that I am low on zinc? What is it that I am doing that is destroying my immune system? That's what we need to do. An investigative work and correct the mistakes that we are doing. That is allowing my immune system to be low. The cause of many diseases is a weak immune system. It is believed that cancer originates, in an immune system that is not working properly. So what is true health? True health is the harmonious balance of all aspects of your person. That's what true health is the harmonious balance of all aspects of your person. And the only one that can be in charge of your health is you, working in cooperation with the Holy Spirit, cooperating with the Lord through the knowledge of the principles of health that He has given you to keep you healthy. And when it's absolutely necessary, to visit health professionals that can give you a direction and a knowledge of why you're sick. So in order to have true health, we need to treat the whole person. When you're sick, do not just run for a pill. There is a danger in the use of drug medications. First, they don't deal with the cause of the disease. Second, a drug will mask the disease, and it appears to be healed, but then it springs out in other forms later on in life. Drug medications create damaging side effects or even new diseases. For example, when you look at a drug that is often prescribed, which is warfarin, the side effects go from minor side effects like gas, feeling cold, fatigue, pale skin, etc., to serious side effects like severe bleeding and black stools or bleeding from the rectum, and so on and on and on. And even warfarin can cause skin tissue death and gangrene requiring amputation. And so many of drug medication are loaded with side effects. And so if we have something natural that can be used instead of the drug medication, why not use that which is natural? It makes sense, doesn't it? Because natural medications, natural approach to healing often has no side effects whatsoever. And the complications are very rare. And sadly, drug medication also creates the wrong understanding of healing. People think that because they are filling their mouth with some tablets, then they are going to be healed. No, all they are doing is dealing with symptoms. Drugs cannot cure disease because a pill cannot bring harmony to a whole person. Only as we cooperate with nature and with God and with His laws can true harmony be restored to human beings. Drugs never heal. I'm not saying there are times that we must use them to treat and alleviate certain symptoms, but do not expect drugs to heal you. True healing may not be the cessation of illness alone. Look at Jesus when He healed. The way Jesus healed in Mark chapter 2 says, when Jesus saw their faith, He said to the paralytic, "Son, your sins are forgiven you. I say to you, arise, take up your bed and go to your house." Immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went out in the presence of them all, so that all were amazed and glorified God, saying, "We never saw anything like this." But I want you to notice that Jesus not only healed the man physically, He healed him spiritually, because the foundation for his physical illness was found in his spiritual condition. And so Jesus healed the whole person, brought harmony and restoration to the whole man. That's the way of God. God does not treat us just like an eye or an ear or a throat or a heart. Jesus treats the whole person. He looks at the whole being, and that's what He wants to do with you. He wants to do with me. Jesus wants to heal the whole person. So true healing is the restoration of harmony to the complete being. How would we do if we use a case study, deal with someone who has diabetes? When I was working in North Queensland, a lady approached me. She was insulin dependent, and she wanted to overcome diabetes. And so I took her under my wing, and we started. I took the approach that I'm going to show you here. We need to find and remove the causes. And for every individual, it will be different. But in this case was this. First, we look physically. She ate a lot of processed foods. She had a diet high in fat and sugar. She loved soft drinks. She ate plenty of animal products. She had a lack of living foods. She drank alcohol. She had no breakfast and often a large dinner. So I'm sitting with her and I'm looking at her lifestyle. I'm listening to what she eats, and I'm asking questions to find out the way she is living her life, because I'm going to go right to the root of the problem. I'm going to look at her lifestyle. She eats in between meals. Other physical aspects, she has a sedentary lifestyle. She does not do exercise, does not like drinking water. And so what am I going to do in order to help her overcome her diabetes? I need to deal with the physical. I need to deal with the physical. I need to change the way she eats. I need to introduce her into a whole plant-based diet. I need to get her into drinking a lot of water. I have to start her in an exercise program. I have to develop a healthy sleeping pattern. I have to get the person to spend time in the sun every day. We need to teach them to do deep breathing and exercises. And then I'm going to look into the emotional, because disease is always attached to the whole being. And so she is depressed. She is anxious. She has a controlling attitude. She wants to control her husband, and she is not happy with herself. So what am I going to do? She is angry also with life and many things that have happened. She's angry with her husband, with her children. So what am I going to do? I must deal with this. And so I start visiting the person, and as I am talking to her about her physical condition, I'm going to start dealing with her emotional situation. She requires counseling. She needs to overcome depression. She needs to live a life without fear. She needs to give freedom to others. She needs to stop controlling, and she needs to understand God's value and love of her, so that she will forgive herself and she stop being angry with herself. And now I'm going to deal with her relational issues. The home is unhappy. She is close to divorce. She, and I'm here using other examples in case you deal with a person that is gone through a divorce and is in the midst of custody battles. This lady did not have that yet, but her marriage was very shaky. She was thinking to divorce her husband. This lady, she was going through physical and psychological abuse. So what do? You need to deal with that. You need to spend time with the lady, and then you may even need to spend time with her husband. She needs to come to terms with if she has been divorced, or she needs to find avenues by which she can end up in a home which is happy. The home has to change for healing to take place. So it's very complex. Understand that both parties need to have access to children. Well, that's what I'm dealing in a case where the person has gone through a divorce and they are on a custody battle. And also how to be free from the abuse. You know, it's the beautiful thing that as we deal with these things, that whole family relationship change, and eventually both of them were willing to work on their relationship, and the home ended up being a happier home. And then I also will investigate the spiritual. She was not sure of the love of God, and she blamed God for her illness and for what she was going through. She carries guilt over broken marriage and the relationship that is falling apart. She has unforgiveness towards her husband. And so I will help her deal with those issues also. And the beautiful thing that, after about 3 or 4 months, this lady had stopped using all insulin, and she was living a life on top of the world, And so diabetes is reversible. But in order to reverse diabetes, like any other disease, you need to deal with the whole person. And then you need with the environmental issues. I'm not going to talk that in much because time is coming to an end. And so you need to empower your body for healing. I took this lady into a detox program. I put her through hydrotherapy, steam baths, and I gave her herbs, to restore her pancreatic function. I put her into an excellent diet, exercise program, and so on and on and on. And then we need to treat the symptoms. In the case of this woman, she did not have an ulcerated leg. But what happens if a person comes to you and comes with a big ulcerated leg? What do? Just treat the ulcerated leg? No, you need to follow the line to see why they have an ulcerated leg. In this case, it's because of diabetes. So you treat it accordingly. So I use potato poultices on the ulcer. I would put cayenne pepper at night on the feet. I would do hot and cold foot baths to restore blood circulation to the area. I would expose the wound to the sun often. And I would massage the whole of the leg to stimulate blood circulation. And I would practice hygiene and proper wound care also. And I would also, increase the intake of vitamin C to fight the infection, and so on and on. The final product is whenever you treat any sickness, at the end of it, you should have a happy, healthy, spiritual, and connected person. That is true health. Only that is true health. Nothing else is true health. Doesn't matter what illness you treat regarding yourself, at the end of the process of dealing with any illness, you should be happy, healthy, spiritual, and connected. And often that doesn't happen when you go to a hospital because doctors don't have that time. Doctors are individuals who are under pressure to treat hundreds of patients. The old doctors used to do it, but now there's financial issues, there is pressure issues. So you must become your own doctor. You must become your own health professional that take your health on your own hands, and you cooperate with God and health professionals so that you become a healthy, happy, spiritual, and connected person. It may be times that you need to see a psychologist or a counselor. It may be times that you need to go and see your pastor for spiritual, direction. But you do not depend on them. You depend on the Lord, and you take charge of your health. You must take charge and ownership of being healthy. A vaccine will not fix you. A pill will not fix you. A vitamin will not fix you. A herb will not fix you. In order to be healed, you need to work with the whole being. So how can we avoid getting sick? And this is the final question. Then I'm going to change gears and show you a couple of videos that we have prepared on how to use water treatments. And this is very brief. How can we stop getting sick? And the answer is very, very simple. Develop a lifestyle that creates powerful health and a happy, spiritual, and connected individual. That's how we, can avoid getting sick. So what is the secret? Develop a lifestyle that creates powerful health and a happy, spiritual, and connected individual. If you want to have a manual on how to develop this, read the book Ministry of Healing by Ellen White. There's nothing better than that. It's the overall manual because it deals with all the different areas of health. There's nothing and no one who has such a comprehensive view of health than what God has given. Ellen White is very interesting that, we live in an era in regards to health that has to do with fads. Comes the thing of, green smoothies, and everyone goes for green smoothies. And then comes superfoods, and the superfood today say well, chia seeds, and tomorrow will be cacao powder, and the next day will be this and that, and people go crazy for this and for that, and then comes exercise and drink plenty of water, and then ozonated water, the era of fads. But friends, there is not one silver bullet that will make you healthy. Not one silver bullet. In order to be healthy, you must develop first a lifestyle that creates powerful health and a happy, spiritual, and connected individual. In other words, you must attend to the whole being. Only then you will not be sick. And let me tell you something. You may develop physical sickness. You may be on the side of the grave. But if you have learned to develop a person who's powerful, healthy, and happy, and spiritual, and connected, you may go to the grave with a sickness, but you may still be happy and joyful and successful in your life, because you have developed a lifestyle in connection with God that is able to carry you even in the worst times of life. All right, let me quickly show you, because I know if I open it for questions now, we will not have the time to show you the videos on hydrotherapy that I'd like to show you. And tonight's videos are going to deal with how to deal with a fever. Something simple. That often when a child has fever, what do? We give them an aspirin, or we give them a Panadol. And so is there an option to this? Yes, the easiest thing is just to pop a pill in their mouth. But it's not the healthiest thing, because you can teach a child or an adult that health takes an effort. And so I'm going to show you first, when you deal with a fever, when a person, let's say, has a flu, and you're feeling there in bed and you're lousy and the fever is raging 38 and a half, what can you do to alleviate it? To cooperate with the body in its effort to get rid of disease. Why does the body create a fever? Because fever is the mechanism by which the body destroys pathogens. Most pathogens do not survive high temperatures. And so the body raises its temperature 1.5, 2 degrees with the effort of destroying pathogens, and it's very effective. So you do not want to combat the fever, you want to cooperate with the fever in the effort of empowering the body to battle against disease. And so the first thing we do is we need to clear the bowels. And this is, I know it's not very comfortable because no one likes going to the toilet, but going to the toilet is healthy. Did you know that? I get happy when I go to the toilet 2 or 3 times a day. Oh, I praise the Lord when I go to the toilet, because it's the foundation of health. Did you know that your health begins in your bowels? If you have an unhealthy bowel, you will be an unhealthy person. And so the first thing I did, and I practice this with my kids all the time. My kids never went to the doctors when they were little, except a couple of times when they hit their head really bad and they got concussion. So we took them to the hospital. There was a time when Rebecca had a vomiting spell that we could not stop, so we took them to the hospital. So we are not stupid. We are not blind. But as far as we can, we did it at home with natural remedies, and they worked fantastic. And so the first thing, our kids came down with a flu, the first thing they knew, they'll get an enema. They'll get an enema. And I'll show you how to do an enema. An enema is the fastest, most effective way of clearing your bowels. It's not safe to do all the time, like to do it every day for a long period of time, because it will deplete your digestive system from bacteria, healthy bacteria. But it's very good to open your bowels, to do them for 2 or 3 days. And this is the way you do an enema. I'm going to show you a couple of videos that we have filmed with my wife, and I'm not going to show anything improper, is just what you need for an enema. First, I'm going to show you the kit. Oh, I need to share my screen. So I'll show you here what you need for an enema kit. And then I'll show you quickly the procedure of doing it. All right, let's go for it. For the evacuation of your bowels, and that's with an enema kit. Some people don't feel very comfortable with doing enemas, which is a colon irrigation system, but it is the most effective way of evacuating the bowels if you are constipated. Remember, in order for healing to take place, the bowels must be working properly. And if the sick person has fever and the bowels are not moving, the person is constipated, then there is not going to be a release of the fever. So the first thing when we deal with fever, the first thing we do is we need to evacuate the bowels. And you can do the salty water treatment. It works very good. But also you can do an enema, an enema of the bowels, or a bowel irrigation. And you need a simple enema kit that consists of a container. In this case, it's a bottle. This is a plastic container in this case. It has a hose, and you fill the container with water. But before you do that, you put the cannula that often has a little tap with it. You coat it with some type of oil, or you can use Vaseline or whatever, and then you just put it into in the hose, fill the container with water, and raise the container above where the person is going to be laying, so that then the water can flow naturally down the tube into the person's body. And through that system, then the water will go into the colon and it will irrigate it, and then by just gravity will pull fecal matter out of the colon, and it will just evacuate it, and it will cause a release of the fecal matter, so that then the colon is not congested. I will show you in a little while also how this is done with the person. All right, let's move on to that one. All right, and now I'm going to show you the procedure to do the irrigation. Okay, so to do an enema, you usually will do it on your bathroom. You need to first lay a towel on the floor, then the person lays on their back. Of course, they will be naked from their belly down, and then you insert into their anum the lubricated cannula of the enema. And then the person will go on the right-hand side, as is being shown now in this position. When the person is in that position, then the tap of the enema kit is open very slowly and not full at first, so that the person will not feel an urge to go to the toilet in a rush, because we want to bring water in as much as possible. And as the person lies on this position, the person will massage their bowels up and down, and in a circular motion. The bowels will be massaged, so that the water can go up the bowels. Then once the descending colon is full of water, and you will feel it, the person goes on their back, and they then lift up their pelvis, so that the water can ascend and go into the transverse colon, and the person continues to massage their bowels, so that the water can travel through the colon, and also the fecal matter can be dislodged from the walls of the colon. Once that section also is full of water, then the person will turn to their other side, to the right-hand side, and then they will endeavor to bring water to that area. Now, by this time, you may have had to go to the toilet 2 or 3 times. That's fine. If you go to the toilet, go empty the water, let all the water come out, and then go back and do the colon irrigation again until you are able to absorb between 2 to 3 liters of water. And always try to hold the water as long as you can inside your colon, so that the water has the ability to soften the fecal matter. And when you sit on the toilet, the water will create a siphon effect on your colon, and it will pull with it a lot of that fecal matter, releasing the colon from all that feverish pressure that the fecal matter puts on the colon, and stops the body being able to work on relieving the body from fever. So I hope that makes it clear. If you have any questions, then we can discuss them in a little while. Thank you. All right. I know that is not a very popular way of doing things today, but you know that in the old days in hospitals, before operations and all that, they used to give them an enema. And it's a very good way of releasing your bowels. I'm going to show you now a way to do it through the mouth. But if you want to work on fever and you haven't cleared the bowels, the fever will respond very slowly or will not respond whatsoever. I saw it in my kids when I forgot to give them an enema and I tried to bring their fever down, it would just not work. But as soon as I gave them an enema, then I did the natural treatments, the fever would clear very quickly. And so the first thing is always clear the bowels. Even if you're feeling feverish, if the flu is coming upon you, clear your bowels. That's the first thing you do, clear your bowels. And I'm giving you 2 ways of doing it. One is to do the enema, the colon irrigation, and the other one is to do the salt water treatment, which is to drink a liter of salty water. And that will also work very fast, not as fast as an enema, because it takes about an hour and a half to work, but also works very fast, especially for men. Men have a lot of problem with the mind to have an enema. They don't like enema. So you can have then the salt water treatment. And I'll show you now a video on how to prepare it. All right, this is very salty. It's not something that tastes nice. This is just, it's remedy. And, but it works wonders. I like the one I prepared today, I'm gonna drink it tomorrow morning. And so I do it myself. One of the other means that we can use water is to relieve constipation. And for this treatment, you need a 1 liter container. You need some good salt, be it Himalayan or Celtic salt. You will need some cold water and also a little bit of hot water. And what you're going to do is you're going to pour the cold water in the container just halfway, and then add some hot water until it becomes warm, about body temperature, and that's about nice. And then you will add 4 tablespoons of salt into the mix, and you will mix that thoroughly, and then add more water into it. Once the salt is dissolved in the water, you will drink this solution in about 10 minutes. What this does is that the concentration of salt in the water does not allow the body to absorb the water, but it works as a sweeping mechanism that will cause you to go to the toilet very, very quickly. So it's a gentle way. It doesn't taste very nice, but it's a very gentle way to move your bowels very quickly. In about half an hour, you will be going to the toilet, You must make sure that you are not planning to go anywhere, because it's going to act, and it's going to act swiftly, and it will cause you to go to the toilet. So once the salt is dissolved, then you add more water, and I will drink this tomorrow morning. I'll keep it until tomorrow morning. Make sure that it's about body temperature, so that it will make its way through the system very swiftly. That's perfect. You know that it's good when you hardly feel the temperature of the mixed. Remember, a liter container with a liter of water and 4 tablespoons of the best available salt you have, and you drink it in about 10 minutes. Make sure that no longer than that. It doesn't taste very nice, but you do it, and then you go to your bed and you lie on your right-hand side for about half an hour and massage your intestines just gently, so that the water will do the effect of softening the stools and working its way through the small intestine into the large intestine, and then out into the toilet. This is a very good alternative to the enema system of bowel evacuation. All right, so that's to clear the bowels. There are other, you can buy chemicals. You can go to the pharmacy, get chemicals, but they are very, very hard on your bowels. You can get also a tea called Senna tea, very effective, but it works overnight. So if you just want to deal with chronic constipation, you can choose methods to make you go to the toilet that are natural, that are very effective. But in order to treat fevers and you need to evacuate the bowels quickly, you use these 2 systems, one of those 2, and they are very good. Now, when you drink the salty water, you drink it in a period of about 10 minutes. You go and drink it little by little in 10 minutes. By the end of the 10 minutes, it's going to be very difficult to swallow the rest of it. Your stomach is going to be very full, and you may be feeling a little bit nauseated, but just swallow it, keep it there, and stay seated for a little while. Then go to your bed and lay on your right-hand side and massage your bowels gently until you feel a desire to go to a toilet. Maybe between half an hour to 1 hour and a half. Do not go out anywhere. I put that warning there because it can be horrible. I did once a treatment. I had some herbs. I had them at nighttime, and in the morning I had to go to a minister's meeting. And I forgot I had the herbs, and I took off. And I was driving on the freeway, and there was a massive traffic, and the urge came. I didn't make it, and the whole thing came out. So do not go out. If you're going to have this, stay home. But if, of course, you're treating a sick person, they're not going to go anywhere. Now, following then the evacuation of the bowels, you put the person in bed again, and you let them warm up. If they are feverish, they will warm up very quickly. You make sure that you check their feet. Their feet need to be warm to do hydrotherapy treatments, because what we are seeking is to create in the body a reaction to what you are doing. And in order to do that, you're going to use cold water to treat a hot body. And so you need to make sure that the body is nice and warm. They are rugged up, they are in bed, they are covered with covers, their feet are nice and warm, and you close the windows and the doors of the room so that there are no wind drafts. And then you will do the following. I'm going to show you now a video on how to do a cold water rub. And this is very powerful to treat fever. All right, this treatment is called the cold water rub treatment, where we will help a person who is suffering with, has a high fever. And we are going to cooperate with the body dealing with the fever and empower the body to subside the fever through the use of cold water. So for this, you need a plastic covering for your carpet. You need a towel with which you can apply the water to the body. You will need a bucket with about half filled with water and a good portion of ice that you pour in the water, and you let it melt for 10-15 minutes before you do the treatment. While the ice is melting, you can check that the windows are closed, that the door is closed, there are no wind draft. Then you check that the patient is hot, that the body is hot. They will have high fever, so the body will be hot, but you gotta make sure especially that their feet are hot, because we are seeking for the body to react with this treatment. And if the feet especially are not hot, the body will have a hard time reacting and bringing the body temperature up again. But if everything is all right, you will dip the towel in the cold water once the ice has been melted, and you will fold the towel in four like this, and you will start the treatment on the right foot, and with the wet towel, you need to wring the towel, but do not leave it dry. You need to leave it semi-wet. Do not leave it dripping, but you need to leave it semi-wet so that the patient will feel the effect of the water. And you start from the right foot, and you go very briskly up and down the left-hand side, away from the heart, the arm, and then once that is done, you change the side of the towel to the other side, and you do the left foot, and you go all the way up, rubbing very briskly. That's why it's called a cold water rub. You rub it very briskly up and down all the left-hand side, and then the person will turn on its side, on one side, and then you turn the towel over like that, and you go all the way on the side, up and down again, and then the person will turn to the other side. And you do the opposite side of the towel, and you rub again very briskly and very quickly, and the arms too, and then the person turns on the stomach, and you go again with the feet, up the legs, up and down very briskly. You turn the towel, you turn it to a side where you have not used it yet, and you do the same with the last side. You do the same very briskly. The desire is to stimulate the nervous system, to stimulate blood circulation, and the cold will create a shock in the system that will stimulate our defense mechanism, the white cells, to go into attack mode. And then once this is done, the person then goes back in bed naked, and you cover them completely up to their neck, and you make sure that they are comfortable, and usually they will go to sleep. And you will do this treatment every 15 to 30 minutes. When the body goes back to be hot again, and the person is again feeling very feverish, you will do the treatment again, and you will do it as long as it's needed. Usually by the end of 5-6 times, the patient is feeling relieved, and the fever has broken, and they are feeling on top of the world again.
All home treatments. I grew up with those things, and they are so powerful. I tell you, we weren't sick for very long. Our kids were never sick for very long. Overnight, usually, by the time they got the flu, I'll teach you other water treatment or hydrotherapy treatments next week. They are very, very powerful things to deal with viral infections. Very powerful. We never use at home. We never use vitamins or anything. We just use these things, and kids responded very powerfully. And so they are very cheap to use. They require some knowledge to do it, but it doesn't require an expertise in doing it. Anyone can do it at home. Anyone. And let me tell you that the time will come when we will not have available to us medicines and doctors and hospitals.
And we will need this knowledge. That's why I'm taking the time to share it with you, because I believe that the times in which we are living with COVID and all that, and the magical bullet is represented as an injection, as a vaccine. There are alternatives, and there are very powerful alternatives to use that you can, if you have the knowledge and you learn to practice it, you will be the richer for it. And then you can help others and teach others with this. So I have finished my presentation. I wonder if there are any questions regarding what we have shared tonight.
Sam, with that cold therapy that you've just done for the dropping the fever, if you're living on your own or whatever else, can you do it like in an ice bath? Can you jump into an ice bath?
Or what you do is you would stand up on the side of your bed, you would dip the towel, you would wring it, and then you would just rub your body very, very, strongly, front and back, and then just jump in bed.
Okay, thanks.
My mom does it. My mom wakes up every day around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and if she doesn't have a cold shower, she would have a cold rub like that, and she would rub her whole body with icy water, and then just jump back in bed. Mm-hmm. And she has done that since I know her, and she hardly ever has a flu. And so she had a flu this year, and she was very sick, but she's very strong, and it helps. It strengthens. Cold water strengthens your body. Cold water strengthens your body. And I don't know if you have heard, I'm going to show you a video next week of a man that lives in Norway. And this man, summer and winter, walks with a short and a t-shirt, and he lives in the snow. He swims in cold water and all that. And it's just incredible. And he teaches you breathing exercises and how to use cold water for good health. And I think there is a knowledge, because God one of the means of healing that God gave us as a people is the use of cold water and hot water and warm water for healing. And so it's just practical things that you can't go wrong with them. Can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. If you learn to take the little bit of, like here, you need to close your windows and doors, because if the person is sick and the immune system is low, and a wind draft catches them, they can get pneumonia, they can get other things. And so, but once you do that, no problems. And the treatment is done quickly, you cover them. And I remember, crying when I was little, and my kids saying, "Dad, give me a cold, wrap, please." So I crying for my mom, "Give me a cold wrap, please." And mom would come with a bucket, and she will rub our body as if there was no tomorrow. And at the end of the rub, you would be feeling so good, you will go to sleep. Half an hour later, you wake up feverish again. And what you're doing is hot and cold. You're administering the cold, the body rises the temperature, and that creates a fever and raises the body temperature. And in that work, eventually the body gets rid of the pathogens that are attacking the body. It's an amazing system. It's just so beautiful.
Hey, Sam?
Yes.
Could you also have a hot and cold shower with the same effect?
The problem with a cold shower and hot shower, when a person is very feverish and sick, it's very hard to get them to go to the shower, and it's a little bit more complex. If you are just coming down with the flu, yes, a cold hot shower, you stay in the shower for half an hour and you do 3 minutes really hot, the hottest you can take it, and then 30 to 50 seconds with really cold as you can take it, and then you go hot again and cold again for half an hour. That will fix you.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Will you be discussing any treatments for cancer, in particular kidney cancer, or any?
I will. I'm not a cancer specialist, so I will give you means by which you can use and investigate further, because I cannot claim that I cure cancer and things like that. I have helped people with cancer. Cancer is a very complex disease, and so natural treatments work wonders with cancers, but yes, cancer is a very complex disease. It requires the treatment of a whole person, And usually it's best to work with someone who has a lot of experience using natural treatments in dealing with cancer. And I would recommend Dr. Robert Gant for that. He has the experience and the knowledge to deal with people with cancer. I don't.
Robert, what's his how do you spell his surname?
G-A-N, Dr. Robert Gant. But if you use what I show you, you will strengthen your system for healing. But to treat cancer, you need other things to add to it. And Dr. Robert, he knows a lot in regards to that.
So I just want to confirm, G-A-N, Gant.
G-A-N, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Pastor,
yes.
Do you help people that actually at the moment I do have digestion problem, and plus actually recently just this week I found out that I've got thyroid problem as well. So thyroid do you actually help people in this area?
I'm not a naturopath, so I don't have a license to help people.
Okay. I thought you.
Yes, I'm a pastor. I don't have a license to help. What I'm sharing with you is the knowledge that I have, which is that will help you strengthen your health system. And if you practice these things and you concentrate in dealing with your whole person, you will heal of many of the underlying issues that are causing you disease.
Okay. So if I want to watching this program again, I mean that because something I might not catch all the information. So if I want to actually record, and then where I can actually go to watch it again.
Danny?
So if you go to our Facebook page, I'll post the links up there. It'll probably be YouTube and our podcast.
Or in the Facebook page.
Yeah, just find us on Facebook, Concord. I'll put the link in the chat in a minute.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Sorry, one more question. Is it your brother actually as a naturopath, isn't it?
Yes, my brother Antonio Braga, he is a trained naturopath and he has a lot of experience. So if you would like to contact him and talk to him, he will help you.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Antonio Braga.
Yes.
All right. Anyone else would have a question? Did you catch the philosophical approach to healing? That is very important. That is a paradigm shift in thinking, people. When we treat disease, we are cooperating with a friend, not with an enemy. And in order to cooperate with disease to bring healing, we must treat the whole person, not just the symptoms. We seek to bring balance and harmony and health and spirituality to the whole person. And so when we do that, when we take that approach personally, individually, you will overcome many of the issues that are causing disease. And so that is so different to the orthodox way of healing that is so prevalent in Western society. If you go to Chinese way of thinking, it's not like Western. If you go to Hindu way of healing, it's not like the Western medicine. But Adventist way of healing is so much more all-embracing and overarching than all the systems, because God gave us a way of looking at man and health that is so much more advanced than anything that it's out there in the world today. And so you got to be very careful to go out and run away with gurus. There are Adventists that follow gurus today. And the guru talks about water, and water is everything for the guru. You got to be careful, because in Adventism it's not only water, but it's so much more than just water. Another guru talks about vitamins, and the vitamins is everything, and people run and become crazy with vitamins. It's not just the vitamins, it's the whole person. And that's what I wanted to emphasize today. Adventist healing philosophy is to bring health to the whole being by implementing those lifestyle principles that God gave us as a people, what we call the 8 laws of health.
So, Pastor, so you say that actually the empty the bowel is one way, is one of the actually is main help you to be covering. The second one is actually is the rubbing your body with the cold like icy cold towel.
That's to deal with fever. When you have fever, let's say you've got the flu, you take these 2 approaches. You empty your bowels, and then you use cold water to help your body recover from fever, which is a symptom. Which is a symptom.
Two step for fever.
That's just fever.
Okay.
I'm going to give you more tools as we advance to deal with COVID, for example, to deal with advanced flu, difficult flus to deal with, and all that. I will give you, by the end of the 3 presentations, you will have a number of different approaches and tools that you can use to treat yourself with. If you contract you get the COVID, you can deal with it at home if the symptoms do not become life-threatening. And then you will have multiple tools with this, from vitamins, minerals. You will counsel you some of that which you can buy in the drugstore. You can use water and herbs, and you can even use some technologies that are there, like zappers and frequency modulators and PEMF. All these things that are, have just come up in science that are extremely useful to deal with these things. And that so you will have a whole packet of tools that you can use to help yourself if you fall sick.
Can I ask you a question as well?
Yes, Brother Penny.
Can you give some idea how to treat prostate cancer?
Just prostate.
Just prostate.
Okay. Again, I will not give you counsel onto that. If you, especially you go to Stanmore, when Dr. Gunn is there, talk to Dr. Gunn. He will give you good counsel on how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Please. I don't want to present myself as someone who can heal cancer because I don't have the credentials or anything to do it. So Dr. Gunn does. He has all the titles and all the knowledge, and go and talk to him. He will guide you down the right path.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Brother Penny. Okay. Well, is there if there are any other questions?
Yeah.
If not, we can finish. All right. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Let's finish with a prayer, and then I will let you go. Father in heaven, we thank you that in your wonderful ways, you made us a whole being, Father. Everything in our bodies is interconnected with everything else. Nothing works by itself. And we pray, Father, that you will give us wisdom, intelligence to cooperate with you, with your laws, and with our own body, that we may be healthy and that we may know, Father, ourselves, that we may know how our personal, individual bodies work. And when we are sick, Father, give us wisdom to investigate the causes, to search deep, that we may find the cause, why we are sick, Father. Give us wisdom. May we depend on you. Hold on to your hand, Father, that you may open our eyes and guide us down the right path. And Father, also make us intelligent regarding the use of simple things, the remedies of nature, things that you have left in the trees, in the plants, in the sun, in the air, in the water, by which your power works in order to heal us. Thank you, Lord. May we not be afraid. May we, Father, trust you. And as we finish our program, come with us, Lord, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending the seminar. I hope that you invite others next week. Have a great week.